January 6 defendant faces charge for threatening Hakeem Jeffries. Christopher Moynihan, a 34-year-old New York man who was convicted for his role in the January 6 Capitol riot and later pardoned by President Donald Trump, was arrested this weekend on a felony charge of making a terroristic threat against House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. According to state court filings, Moynihan sent text messages on or around October 17 stating that Jeffries must be eliminated, and "I will kill him for the future." The New York State Police were notified by an FBI task force before taking Moynihan into custody in Clinton, New York, and arraigning him in Dutchess County. Jeffries, DNY, thanked state and federal law enforcement agencies for their prompt action and used the occasion to critique broad preemptive pardons granted to January 6 defendants as having real consequences. Moynihan remains under confinement while his case proceeds in state court.
But they said all the violence was on the left. This once again seems to be on the right.
Trump can't pardon this guy if the case stays in state court. And the federal system is dirty.
So, is anyone in the administration going to call him a terrorist? Or does that term that only apply to peaceful grandmothers protesting on No King's Day?
Convicted felons should lose the right to pardon anybody.
A criminal that pardons his own patriots, does this surprise anyone?
Doesn't matter what political party. Violence should not be tolerated. Period. Keep it in state court. Trump can't pardon state crimes.
Ingrassia withdraws special counsel nomination amid text controversy. Paul Ingrassia withdrew his nomination to lead the office of special counsel on Tuesday, October 21, citing a lack of Republican support following reports of alleged racist text messages. Ingrassia announced his decision on X, stating he would not secure enough Republican votes for his confirmation hearing before the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, which was scheduled for Thursday, October 23. The withdrawal came after Politico reported reviewing text messages allegedly sent by Ingrassia in a group chat. One alleged message stated, "MLK Jr. was the 1960s. George Floyd and his holiday should be ended and tossed into the seventh circle of hell, where it belongs." Another allegedly read, "I do have a Nazi streak in me from time to time." NBC News did not independently verify the reported messages. Ingrassia's attorney told Politico that if the texts were real, they were self-deprecating and satirical humor, but did not confirm their authenticity. Republican lawmakers reportedly expressed discomfort with the allegations and other past controversies.
J.D. Vance. What Paul said is just harmless banter. It's just what kids say these days.
It's funny when they say allegations of racism, then you read texts and it's pretty literal.
If we have the texts, it's not an allegation law. Where are they finding these creatures? Rent a racist.
It's interesting how 30-year-old racists are considered kids, according to J.D. Vance. This country is a joke.
But he still works in the administration. WTH?
He dropped out not because of a few texts, but because of what would be found when they continued to dig if he kept in the race.
Washington and Beijing hold trade talks amid new U.S.-Australia critical minerals pact. U.S. and Chinese officials are engaged in talks this week aimed at de-escalating trade tensions, amid President Donald Trump's announcement of a new U.S.-Australia critical minerals pact. Trump and Australian leader Anthony Albanese signed an agreement on October 20 to bolster rare earth and critical minerals supply chains outside China. China, which processes more than 90% of the world's rare earths, has recently tightened export controls. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is set to meet Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng in Malaysia next week, while Trump plans to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in the near future. Trump warned that new tariffs up to 100% could be imposed if China does not roll back its export restrictions. The US-Australia deal is seen as part of a broader strategy to diversify supply and reduce Beijing's leverage in defense, automotive and AI sectors.
We love our mates down under.
Most of the Americans think we the Chinese people are the axis of evil. So please don't trade with us. Everyone is happy. Why force us to trade with you guys? You guys are willing to spend $1.5 billion taxpayers' money, your money, to just badmouth China. HR 1157. Look it up. Instead of feeding people, the existence of food bank is an insult to a G7 country. Feed your people, instead of suppressing China.
Let's go, USA and Australia. Now that is two great countries working together.
Make Australia great again.
Cut all ties with China.
This is actually really big news.
Goodbye China. Start a fire, then complain it's too hot.
Thank you, Australia. Mine, baby, mine.
Trump seeks $230 million from DOJ for past investigations. Former President Donald Trump has filed administrative claims seeking approximately $230 million in damages from the U.S. Department of Justice for investigations into his conduct, officials say. One claim, submitted in late 2023, challenges the Special Counsel probe into alleged Russian interference in the 2016 election. A second, filed in mid-2024, accuses the DOJ of prosecutorial misconduct and privacy violations during the FBI's 2022 search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence for classified documents. Trump has publicly asserted that any decision on compensation would have to go across my desk, underscoring the unprecedented nature of a sitting president overseeing claims filed on his own behalf. Legal experts warn the claims face high hurdles under the Federal Tort Claims Act, which typically excludes discretionary government actions. With senior DOJ officials now holding prior roles as Trump's defense attorneys, ethical concerns about the process are mounting.
What happened to balance of power? Where's our Senate? When will courts demand justice?
No wonder Homan was allowed to keep his illegal takings of $50,000. There are no more boundaries with Trump and his admin, and again the reps in Congress say absolutely nothing, cowards.
Trump is absolutely destroying America, one day at a time.
He's just a crook. He's robbing you blind, and I see that he's also demolishing the East Wing of the White House. How much more of this crap will you Americans take?
Posing as a king and shish, TTING on Americans, pretty much sums up what he's doing to the country.
This happens because he's never held accountable. He rewrites history. Trump makes Watergate look like an unpaid parking ticket. He's corruption and malfeasance on steroids.
He really robbing the US. Notice his rights getting violated matters, but no one else's does.
Trump-Putin summit postponed, not to proceed immediately. A planned summit between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will not proceed in the immediate future, U.S. officials confirmed in late October 2025. The proposed meeting, initially discussed for Budapest, Hungary, followed a series of diplomatic exchanges between Washington and Moscow. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio participated in preliminary discussions aimed at defining an agenda for the talks, but no date was finalized. Officials declined to provide specific reasons for the delay, describing the decision as a pause rather than a cancellation. The meeting's postponement comes amid renewed tensions over Ukraine and disagreements on ceasefire enforcement. Both sides have maintained open communication channels, but significant differences remain on security and sanctions policy. The White House emphasized that diplomatic engagement will continue when conditions are appropriate, signaling cautious optimism despite the setback.
Productive call, but the meeting is off?
Putin just wants to buy time.
It's so embarrassing, and we, US, look very weak in the eyes of Putin. When will POTUS understand Putin only understands strength? Donalds is so afraid of Putin, yet he yells at Zelensky's tells me who's the real puppet master. Putin is.
The art of being played by Putin again.
Phew, I thought he might just agree to give him Alaska.
In other words, Putin has managed to delay everything once again, and Trump fell for it once again. What a joke.
White House demolishes East Wing for new ballroom project. The White House began demolishing a section of its East Wing Monday to construct a new 90,000 square foot ballroom, a $250 million project initiated by President Donald Trump. Construction equipment was observed tearing into the facade of the wing, which traditionally houses the First Lady's operational base. The demolition proceeds amid concerns from historic preservation groups and questions regarding federal approval. The proposed ballroom, intended to accommodate up to 999 people, would be significantly larger than the main White House residence. President Trump has stated the project will be funded by private donations. Critics, including the National Trust for Historic Preservation, have urged a pause for public review, citing fears the new construction could overwhelm the White House's classical design. Officials have not fully clarified how the demolition aligns with the president's earlier pledge that the project would not interfere with existing structures. The National Capital Planning Commission, which typically oversees federal construction, has stated its jurisdiction does not extend to demolition. Work continues during a federal government shutdown.
Unfreaking believable. WTF. The White House is a museum belonging to the people. How did this happen?
Oh my heavens. He is literally destroying the White House. This bro is really not planning to leave this time around and fudging everyone to do so via unpaid labor.
Just curious of who authorized the destruction of a national historic landmark? He lied about that too, said the ballroom wouldn't hurt White House. This guy is a piece of work.
Watching him destroy the WH and making it look like a knick-knack whorehouse is really painful. The former Rose Garden now looks like an all-you-can-eat at a travel resort. And now this. No class, no taste. This is not his property or personal playground. This is a disgrace and insult to all former presidents and to history. Unbelievable. Where are the people who are arresting him?
This made me cry. Our beautiful, historic White House desecrated for a ballroom that nobody wants but that fat, demented egomaniac.
And at the same time his administration took the help away for social services, go figure FDJT. A ballroom and people are out of work. What the hell does he need with a new ballroom?
Shutdown hits day 22 as Trump, Senate GOP huddle in Rose Garden. President Donald Trump met Senate Republicans in the White House Rose Garden on Tuesday as the federal funding lapse reached day 22, now the second longest shutdown in U.S. history. The meeting followed repeated Senate failures to advance a continuing resolution, including an 11th unsuccessful vote earlier this week. Republican leaders reiterated that the government should reopen first, then negotiations can proceed on other priorities. Democrats, by contrast, insist that any stopgap must address the pending expiration of Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, arguing that costs for millions could rise without action. Some Republicans floated filibuster changes for short-term funding bills, though leaders offered no timeline for such a move. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of federal workers face delayed paychecks, and agencies warn of mounting disruptions. After the Rose Garden session, Participants described the discussion as focused on a narrow path to reopen agencies quickly while leaving the healthcare dispute to subsequent talks. No vote schedule was announced, and both parties signaled they would continue to press their positions.
Absolutely no money for illegal immigrants. No pay for politicians. They should make it so senators and representatives have a term limit.
Listen to the people. Hold the line. We want the swamp drained.
These Democrat criminals need to be voted out. Do not buckle. Fire the bureaucrats. Reduce the government.
Do not give in to them.
The Obamacare did not work.
Do not cave to their blackmail.
Russia launches widespread attacks on Ukraine. Trump-Putin meeting postponed. Russia launched widespread aerial attacks on Ukrainian cities overnight October 21 to 22, hours after a planned meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin was reportedly postponed. The assaults targeted Kyiv, Dnipro, Zaporizhia, and Izmail, causing casualties and damage to infrastructure. President Trump cited Russia's unchanged, maximalist demands, and a desire to avoid a wasted meeting as reasons for the delay in talks. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky linked the renewed Russian aggression to Washington's reluctance to provide Tomahawk missiles, emphasizing Ukraine's critical need for long-range U.S. weaponry. The Trump administration has not yet decided to provide Tomahawk missiles, adhering to an America First strategy that prioritizes U.S. security. Amid the ongoing attacks, Ukraine conducted a long-range strike on the Bryansk chemical plant in Russia using British-made Storm Shadow missiles.
Get this clown out. On top of it, he is not president of the people choice.
The West wants ceasefire to rearm Ukraine. They've not really after peace.
The only thing that this green goblin wants is a nuclear war.
Don't place too much hope on others. Rely on yourself for everything.
Peace, please. Don't listen to people advocating war. Peace among all nations.
How did the president of Europe's poorest country become a billionaire?
French museums hit by string of high-value thefts, including gold bars and jewels. French authorities are investigating a series of high-profile museum thefts in Paris that occurred in mid-October. On October 19, 4 masked thieves stole 8 Napoleon-era jewels worth an estimated €88 million from the Louvre Museum's Apollo Gallery. The group entered through a first-floor window using a mechanical lift, smashed display cases, and escaped within minutes. No arrests have been made, and President Emmanuel Macron condemned the theft as an attack on our shared history. Separately, prosecutors confirmed the arrest of a 24-year-old Chinese woman in Spain in connection with a different case, the theft of 4 gold bars and 1 gold-bearing mineral, weighing about 6 kilograms, from the National Museum of Natural History on October 16. She was extradited to France after being found with roughly 1 kilogram of melted gold. Authorities believe she attempted to flee to China. The 2 incidents highlight growing concerns over a wave of cultural property crimes in France this autumn.
The fact that there are 4 of them, the same number as the Lupin gang, is also Lupin-like.
I mean, the security is just too grubby.
I'm not surprised or confused when I hear they are Chinese.
It's not just someone else's problem, it's going to happen to Japan too.
Robbing phones in England, stealing gold in France. Do your best to educate your people rather than your country's strength.
Chinese who do not disappoint.
Louvre Museum robbed of 8 French crown jewels. Thieves carried out a swift, 7-minute raid at the Louvre's Apollo Gallery on Sunday, October 19, stealing 8 pieces from France's historic crown jewels. Posing as workers, the crew used a vehicle-mounted lift to reach an upper-story window and cut through glass and metal barriers with power tools. Among the targets were 19th-century tiaras, necklaces and brooches. Empress Eugenie's emerald and diamond crown was dropped during the escape and later recovered damaged. Culture Minister Rachida Dati condemned the professional operation, while Interior Minister Laurent Nunez said a major investigation is underway. Prosecutors estimate losses at about 88 million euros, though officials stressed the greater blow is to France's heritage. The Louvre reopened to visitors on Wednesday, October 22, as authorities reviewed security and kept the Apollo Gallery closed. The heist has prompted a wider debate over museum protection standards in France and a reassessment of surveillance coverage at major sites. Police continue to analyze footage and leads as the robbers remain at large.
It might be worth looking for the loot in Tel Aviv.
Napoleon himself is a thief who stole the wealth, minerals and artifacts of the countries he colonized.
Napoleon stole it from countries he colonized. It is not a theft, but an act of intelligence directed at France and insulting it because the crown of Nablus' wife was found on the outskirts of France, smashed.
What's the big deal? A thief steals a thief.
U.S. officials work to preserve Gaza ceasefire amid West Bank settler attacks. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance arrived in Israel to help shore up a fragile Gaza ceasefire, joining other American envoys amid warnings from U.S. officials, reported by major U.S. outlets, that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could still walk away from the deal. In a recent 60 Minutes appearance, Presidential advisor Jared Kushner argued that Israel's broader regional acceptance depends on tangible improvements in Palestinian living conditions, a theme echoed in ongoing diplomacy. As mediators press for de-escalation, settler violence has intensified during the West Bank's olive harvest. The UN Humanitarian Office recorded 71 settler attacks between October 7 and 13, with about half linked to harvesting. Casualty tallies vary by update, but reports include injuries and at least one fatality. Local monitors say some incidents occurred in the presence of Israeli forces. Israel has not issued detailed public responses. Vance met Israeli leaders and reiterated U.S. support for maintaining the ceasefire, while aid agencies stress that protecting farmers and ensuring safe access to groves are essential to preventing a broader deterioration.
No Hamas in West Bank, so Israel showing the world even more that it's about stealing land.
Israel is zero without the US.
My God, how are we allowing these cowards to do this to poor Palestinian? In a week, 71 attacks, 99 injured, 27 villages, 1,500 trees? Running after people with masks and sticks? What in the world? This is Jim Crow.
Israel just wants to continue this genocide and ethnically cleanse Palestine, but unknowingly it is dragging people to become more pro-Palestinian to this point that some people have started calling the dismantling of Israel.
Makes my blood boil, they're savages.
It's not occupied West Bank, it's occupied Palestine.
Netanyahu is addicted to war.
At what point should they labeled as a terrorist organization?